listed as a PIC. I kind of just run stuff in the front and back or wherever I'm needed in the day. Yes, I've been here since last summer, so a little over a year. I'm actually only in charge of stuff because this summer the other guy, assistant manager in charge, got fired. So they're like, oh shit, we need someone to help run this store. So I got kind of just like pulled and yanked to do that job. So I've been doing it since the summer. That's when I started taking inventory, doing the trucks. I help do the schedule sometimes, but now that we've got a bunch of people on, like Frank does it all himself. Most of the front of house workers, that's the cashiers, people who serve the food, are students. So during finals week, everybody wants the week off. During vacation, there's nobody here. That people only are here about a year or two before they're moving off to something else. And it usually takes, I'd say, it takes people to be fast and actually like really on the job and not having to be told to do stuff. It takes a few months for some people. Some people a little bit longer, depending.
And what about game days?
Game days, honestly, game days are hard to predict though, because it depends on if it's like a big game and if people are going to be like, also depends on the weather, because sometimes people just want to stay inside because it's cold or it's rainy, whatever. Or if it's like, sometimes there's more tailgating, so actually during the games or before there's not as many people. And it also depends on the time of day of the game, because if the game gets out early, we're going to come after. If it's a 6 o'clock game, then it doesn't matter so much to us because once it's over, we're already closed.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's hard to predict though. There's also like holiday weekends are usually a big thing at the stores, but for us, because we're on campus, usually people go home, so our business actually drops, because even though people will come here like on vacation, like not vacation, but just like because the week's off, they'll go eat out, but there's fewer students, so the actual numbers are down.
This is the hallway behind Panda Express. They were forced to overtake this common area that the food stores of the MSC downstairs all share. They were forced to do this because of their very small store and very limited storage. This is the storage area dedicated to Panda Express. In this area, they should be able to store everything we just saw in the hallway. But as you can see, there is simply just not enough room. This is the area where food is cooked and prepared. If you have ever been to a Panda Express other than the one in the MSC, you can notice how much smaller the kitchen in the MSC's Panda Express is than others. But the MSC Panda often has a much larger lunchtime rush than many other stores that have a larger kitchen and more storage space. The last area of the Panda Express store is here, where customers are shown the food available and able to pick out what food they want. This limited area is sometimes not able to serve the sometimes massive line that builds up around lunch and dinner, causing some customers to have to wait an extraordinarily long amount of time.
Yeah, sales are forecasted based on like the previous year's sales, but ours are a bit off because this year, since we actually have a fuller crew, better trained people, we're doing about 20-30% better every week, like 80,000 a week versus 60. So they try to project based on that, but the numbers aren't always accurate because people change their minds what they're ordering. But we get 4 trucks a week. I think right now it's usually about $23,000 of food. So that makes up that's like $6,000 trucks. I mean, depending on the time of day, because we get them like they double stack. Like we get one Sunday, one Monday, then one Wednesday, one Thursday. So when you have 2 trucks right back to back, you have a small and big one. Thursday we have a giant truck because we don't have another truck for 4 days. So we have to overfill that. And we have all the trucks because our store space is really small. We only have, I think the entire store is 900 square feet. And our freezer is really tiny. And whenever I have a full truck come in, it fills the thing top to bottom. So we can't actually get enough food to do more. Okay. So I mean, it's one problem we had in the past though, was serving the customers on time. We only had one line, so I could fit like 3 or 4 people serving food and 2 cashiers. And then starting last year, we opened up a second lane up here, so it takes a lot harder to prepare the food for it because our kitchen space is small. But during the lunch rushes and dinner rushes, now I can prepare more food for people. So with a little more time, then we can actually get in it. So we have like 7 or 8 people serving food now, and that's helped increase sales a lot over the past year. Typically, I guess for the different foods we sell, so considering if we had 1,500 meals sold in a day, just the different types of food, like we might have like 30% of that will be orange chicken. Next up, things will be about 100 servings each, and everything else is much lower. So the food that we prepare during the day is almost always, there's going to be orange chicken cooking or things like that. We usually cater to the interests of the customers, make sure they always have what they need or what they want. I guess recently we had, just because of the whole bird flu going with your chickens, we've had an egg shortage, which has then just been panned up. I think it's most of the restaurant sector. So we had to change any of our recipes. Like, we used to have soup, but it used eggs, so we don't make it anymore. And then our fried rice used eggs in the recipe, so we've had to switch that up to use other ingredients. As far as changing, like, the customers not liking that, I mean, for the most part, I haven't had any complaints like that. But a few people said they don't like it, whereas others said because they're vegetarian, they'd actually prefer it without the eggs. So I think any loss in sales because of that are probably offset by more sales from newer clients. Yeah, because of our small facility, we're actually not, our storage space is limited to just our store. We have a small closet in the back, and actually the hallway just have shelves set up just to store our extra sauces, cups and lids and plates and things like that, because there's no way we can actually fit our inventory inside our store because of its small size. I'd say probably, yeah, because I mean, since that's one of the main eateries down here, I think the other, like, Dunkin' and Sabisa are more open now because to accommodate for that, but I think we get more from that. Just, yeah, there's just not as many places to eat now, and then I know the other facilities in just the embassy itself, from what I hear from other customers, is they don't like to eat at them as much. So I guess we're a better choice in that regard. But I also think it's just because we're faster now, because usually the one still gets about as big as it did before. It's just now that since we can serve the people, then we can get them out faster and get more people in. I mean, the only solution so far I could see for our limited facility space is there is an area next to us, so we could lease that area to knock down the wall and try to expand the cooking area and range to that. But then we're still limited by the size of our freezer and fridge to how much food we could prepare and how much food we can store during the day. So, I mean, we could overcome that by maybe ordering 5 or 6 trucks a week, but that'd be a big strain on logistics, since you're trying to now order multiple trucks that are overlapping on each other every day of the week, and then you need to keep each person who's ordering those trucks in line with everyone else to make sure you're not over ordering, and then you can't store your food properly.
After talking with Joe and touring the Panda Express facility, our group had a few recommendations for Panda Express. First, we said to consider opening another Panda Express somewhere else on campus to lessen the demand at this particular location. Or if that is not an option, to take over a venue on campus somewhere that has a larger space and more storage. Second, we said to focus on demand from earlier this year rather than demand from last year to estimate their forecast. We said to do this because demand is higher for this year and cannot be directly compared to last year due to spaces like the Commons being closed and more freshmen looking for places to eat. Lastly, we suggested that Panda Express plan further ahead for special events such as ring day or game days to ensure that there are enough employees and high demand food items on hand.